Ingvar Kamprad va ser el fundador de l'empresa de mobles Ikea a l'any 1943. En els seus inicis com a empresari va importar bolígraf. Ingvar Kamprad va ser anomenat representant dels bolígrafs francesos Evergood, directes des de París. Però després de tenir problemes en les llicències d'importació, decideix canviar i dedicar-se a vendre mobles. A la regió on vivia, a Smaland i al llac Mokel, envoltat de boscos frondosos, hi havia bons fusters que es dedicaven a fabricar mobles. Ingvar va detectar un gran potencial en la venda de mobles per correu. A principis dels anys 50 va arribar el primer catàleg Ikea, compost únicament per mobiliari per la llar, on es publicitava un dels fonaments d'Ikea: oferir un ampli assortiment de productes per a la llar, funcionals i de bon disseny, a preus que siguin assequibles per a la majoria de les persones. El següent pas va ser que els clients poguessin anar a veure els mobles que havien vist al fullet. Així podrien comparar Ikea amb altres proveïdors de mobles i comprovar que sí, els preus eren baixos, però que a més la qualitat era bona. A l'any 1953, Ingvar va inaugurar la nova exposició a Älmhult, a prop de l'estació de tren i de l'oficina de correus. Aquesta nova idea d'Ingvar va posar en marxa la cultura d'Ikea. Un catàleg amb textos i imatges atraïa les persones a una exposició on podien veure, tocar i provar els mobles que després s'enviaven a casa seva.
This is a photo of our museum building today. This is actually the first ever Ikea store that opened up here in Älmhult in 1958. And then we had a store here until 2012. Then we relocated the store to another place in Älmhult, and we use now this old building as Ikea Museum. We have behind me now a photo of Ikea Motel. This was opened back in 1964, and that gave the possibility for visitors who came to the Ikea store to actually stay overnight. And back then it was also a possibility to take a swim in a pool that was included in the motel. Also now we still have Ikea Hotel. It's been rebuilt and extended over the years. Here on the top floor of Ikea Museum, where we are standing right now, we have a part dedicated to Ikea through the ages. We have built up an exhibition that follows the different decades that Ikea has been up as a company, and we try to show it from a little bit different angles. We try to focus on how has the range developed through the years. We also lift forward facts about historical milestones for the company, and we also include how the world around us has changed over the decades. I'm standing in front of a presentation of furniture from back to the 50s, and I'm pointing at a red chair. It was called Rut, and that was one of the first home furnishing products that Ikea offered to customers. And there is also other examples of furnitures from back then, so you can say that this is the things, home furnishing items that met the first customers coming to the Ikea store back in 1958. So now I have taken my place into the 1960s and this part of the exhibition that shows some of the furnitures and home furnishing items that we offered our customers back then. Behind me, for example, we had a big seller for Ikea that was called Tore, that was introduced in the 60s. And here you see some typical furnitures from the 1960s. This is covering more living room style, and on the wall you can see that there is a photo from our Ikea catalog, how you can have your living room set back in the 60s. And here we have a room from the 70s, where you see also that we have the hi-fi. That was also included in Ikea's range, so you could, back in those days, actually buy a hi-fi stereo from Ikea. Besides that, there is a sofa bed in denim fabric. That was quite big seller and very popular in the Ikea range. Now I'm sitting here in the 1980s, and I'm sitting in a sofa that was called Moment. The designer who designed this was called Nils Gammelgård. Now I'm standing in front of a home office from the 1990s, and behind me you see a work desk but also what was typical now for the 90s, that people started to have their own computers in their homes. So above me there is a sound shower actually, and that sound shower gives us the sound of when you were calling up the modem back in the days. So this typical sound when you were waiting for that you're going to connect to the World Wide Web is sounding above us. Behind here in the glass cabinet you can also see some examples from furniture from the 1990s. This was connected to a collection called PS Collection, and we have the candlelight holder up here from Ellen Jonsson, for example. And then we also have this cabinet that was designed by Nicholas Wig Hansen. So here I'm standing in front of some of the home furnishing items from the decade 2000. And behind me you can see that we have shown different furnitures that also includes that we are living in small spaces. So for an example, we have a bed that also have a workspace underneath it, a possibility to use as much cubic meters as possible. This is examples of things from 2010, and what you see in here is a lot connected to preparing food. Food is a big thing and an important thing with IKEA and also in the range. For example, we have this portable cooking plate here, you can see, called Tillreda. This part of IKEA Museum we use for temporary exhibitions. We have the main exhibition, but there is always something new going on. So we try to shift and present different temporary exhibitions for our visitors. Here and now we have a temporary exhibition that is dedicated to the collection Stockholm, and we see behind me here some examples from the early collections of Stockholm. The first one came out already back in 1985. In that collection from 1985, two designers were deeply involved, and it was Thomas Jelinek and Karin Mobring. They had worked for IKEA for many years and was established designers, and they were given the mission to bring forward a range called Stockholm. Stockholm collection has been launched in different stages through our timeline, you can say. The early part came out already back in 1985, but we just a couple of months ago launched a new collection of Stockholm in the IKEA stores. And behind me on this wall you see different designers who's been involved in the different collections over the years. And to just mention a few, we have the siblings Knut and Marianne Hagberg, who worked many years for IKEA. You have Maria Winka here, you have Nils Gammelgård, and yeah, you can see there is different portraits and different designers who's been involved over the decades. Here is a nice photo of the founder of IKEA, Ingvar Kamprad. He was born in 1926, and as a 17-year-old boy in 1943 he started the company IKEA. And in this part of the exhibition we have a path where you can walk around and you can get acquainted with the founder. There are different storytellings and things to listen to.